We are a synagogue in the heart of the South, and Daniel letters are esteemed rabbinic intern, and will share with us words of inspiration for Parshat HaKodesh, which was reported a few days ago, so we move a little slower down.
Thousands of years ago, God inclined himself to speak with a group of men and women. The group was mostly downtrodden, the most oppressed, the most ill-used, and the most despised group of people on earth. Its children were drowned, its marriages were broken up, and its back was bent. They were a people without hope. The Mishnah of Pesachim declares that in every generation, every person is obligated to regard themselves as if they themselves were taken out of Egypt. When I think about how low the Jewish people were before they were taken out of Egypt, I don't feel like I can fulfill this obligation to view myself as having been taken out of Egypt. The redemption experienced was an immediate relief from hundreds of years of oppression. They had no dreams and no hopes. And then, from seemingly out of nowhere, the Father of all humanity performed incredible miracles and brought the most powerful nation on the face of the earth to their knees just to redeem this tiny, pathetic group of people and make them his treasured nation. It's impossible for me to relate to the experience of slavery, and I feel inadequately prepared to feel the feelings and experience the experiences of redemption like the generation who came out of Egypt. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. In fact, the Brisker Rav commented that this requirement is probably the most difficult of all of the obligations we are commanded to fulfill at the Seder. There are many interpretations of what the Mishnah could possibly mean by making such an impossible demand on us. This has led some to argue that it's just a mental exercise, that we only have to try to perceive ourselves as slaves who have just experienced the joy of redemption from bondage. Some say that this exercise is impossible to do on our own, and it is the format of the Seder which functions to trigger these emotions within us. Maimonides' understanding of this Mishnah is not to simply try in vain to regard oneself mentally as a personal participant in the Exodus, but to demonstrate this attitude with personal relevance. Therefore, according to Maimonides, a person must do certain actions in order to demonstrate their awareness of personal participation in the Exodus, which is why he explains, we recline in the manner of people of leisure and are required to drink 4 cups of wine. I believe that the message of Parshat HaChodesh can be a possible insight into how to fulfill the words of the Mishnah. Just like Maimonides said, I believe that Parshat HaChodesh introduces to the preparation for Pesach an element of personal relevance. The Mishnah does not say that each person is obligated to consider themselves exactly like they were personally freed. Rather, it says as if they were personally freed. The Hebrew word for that term, ki'ilu, connotes an element of similar to, but not exactly. We need to personally relate similar feelings to those of the generation of Egypt, not necessarily to emulate their exact emotions. The emotions which the Jewish calendar attempts to evoke from us do not always coincide with what we are feeling naturally. As with all mitzvot, in order to fully experience their beauty and impact on our lives, we need to have kavanah, spiritual intention. We must prepare ourselves fully to experience a mitzvah, and we must prepare ourselves to achieve a meaningful experience of a holiday. Passover is also called Chodesh Aviv, not only because it comes at the beginning of spring, but because the spiritual experience of Passover mirrors the physical experience of spring. With spring, we experience the renewal of life in the world. Flowers bloom, trees come to life, birds sing. It's like the world is reawakening. In spring, the world comes to life after a long, dreary winter. Similarly, Passover commemorates the springing to life of the Jewish people after the cold, lifeless winter of slavery. The command of the Mishnah to regard yourself as if you had come out of Egypt is saying, attach your personal experiences to the reality around you. For the world, for the Jewish nation, the feelings of renewal, rebirth, and awakening are occurring whether you, the individual, are part of it or not. Be part of the world around you. Latch on to this reality as a time for rejuvenation in your own life. The spiritual elation we may have felt in the wake of the Jewish New Year with the back-to-back holidays of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot has long been forgotten. At this point of the year, we have become habituated to the routine cycle of our lives. With this external experience of winter and the internal experience of the monotony of the Jewish calendar without a single yontif for almost 6 months, it's difficult for the Jewish person not to be feeling a lack of spiritual passion. Parshat HaChodesh comes as a wake-up call to move past winter and experience spring. For the ancient Israelites, many springs came and went. Seasons changed many times over, but the redemption never came. The people were a nation without dreams, without the hopes of freedom. They were the lowest, most disgraced nation on earth. The last people anyone would ever have expected the master of the universe to enter into a close relationship with. But before they could experience a full redemption, God paved the way by giving the Jewish people the very first mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. By making the sanctification of the month the first step in a continuous relationship with the Jewish people, God was saying to them, everything has its renewal. Everything has its rebirth, even you. For generations, you've had no ties to the elation and rejuvenation most people feel when spring comes. From now on, you will have reason to rejoice with this change. For when the world awakens at spring, you will remember that you were brought out of Egypt by the strong hand of God, and you too will awaken. That was the lesson then, and it is the lesson today. Now when you are feeling most uninspired, lost in the humdrum of daily life, it will be very difficult for you to break that feeling without any preparation. Before you can feel liberation, you have to awaken to your situation and beware of the rut you have fallen into. As I mentioned earlier, the commandment to view yourself as if you were taken out of Egypt is incredibly difficult. With all mitzvot, there must be preparation. Parshat HaChodesh is your refreshing wake-up call. It's a reminder that spring is coming. The world is about to come to life. The Jewish people began their redemption during this season, and it's almost time for you too. It's a reminder that the Jewish people were stuck in a rut way deeper than you can even imagine, but they were rejuvenated. Parshat HaChodesh is telling us to use Passover, the celebration of the rebirth of your people, as an opportunity for your own personal rejuvenation. May each of us heed the call of Parshat HaChodesh so that each of us can experience liberation at the Seder and the ultimate redemption may it come soon.